HR sucks. Hiring managers suck. The entire IT industry is flawed. So whose fault is it? Really? Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Zach Hill. This is IT Career Questions, where we are creating IT futures. We are all becoming more and more aware of the roadblocks that are put in your way when it comes to getting in IT. Some people like to blame HR, human resources. Some people are blaming hiring managers, and some people just say that the entire industry as a whole has a problem recruiting new people. Entry-level jobs with 3 to 5 years experience. What are we thinking? What are we doing? What are we putting ourselves through? Who's to blame? The hiring managers? Probably not so much. Our HR department? Maybe a little bit from time to time. The entire industry? Mostly. The problem at hand that I see, that I've been seeing, is that we are afraid to take a chance on new people. Now, of course, there comes many risks with hiring people with a lack of experience. I understand that. But this comes back to the industry. This comes back to the organization, because there's so much more that we could be doing to prepare people for these jobs, to work with entry-level folks in getting them job ready. Now, we know in IT, all of the technical skills can be trained and learned, and we can do a fantastic job of making sure this happens. So as an IT department, one of the things that we're really lacking in is creating enough documentation to support the work that we're doing. Now, there's many reasons why documenting our work is very important. On top of the documentation, utilizing our ticketing systems to the most potential that we can, meaning when you are documenting your tickets, you are providing enough detail that anybody can go back through that ticket and read it and understand exactly what you did to fix an issue. And if they need to repeat those steps, they can follow along with you. Same with any type of other documentation that you create within your environment. You guys should be using some type of wiki system to contain all of this information, all of your troubleshooting steps, all of the programs and systems that are utilized, how they talk to each other, and common troubleshooting steps that you go through. And really what the industry needs, if an organization is not capable of doing this on their own, they should be hiring a team of professionals like me or other professionals like me who can come in and shadow a new person in their environment. They shadow that entry-level role and they document the processes and steps that they go through on a day-to-day basis as they're starting out. What we can do with this documentation is then utilize that for future employees who are coming into the environment. So we go through this shadowing process for a few weeks. We're documenting what these people are learning on a day-to-day basis, the things that they need to know, troubleshooting steps that they're taking on that day-to-day basis, and keeping track of it. We're documenting every step of this so the next person that comes in can follow along. They can pull open the documentation, they have videos to follow, they have plenty of text guides to follow that really introduce them and welcome them to the environment and everything that they need to be knowing and doing. So when a new person comes into your environment, you can take them through a technical orientation that introduces them to everything that you have in your environment and the most common troubleshooting techniques and steps that they'll be taking to help support your organization. We could be breaking down how Active Directory is structured, how to reset a password, how to add new members to a group, how to troubleshoot printers, how to troubleshoot specific applications within your environment. You guys should already have a ticketing system put into place. We can go through your entire ticketing system and find the most common issues that are happening in your environment and create a documentation process for these common things that anybody can go back to and refer to. It's about creating a streamlined process that will not only introduce people to your environment, get them familiar with your environment, but also understand the steps that you want them to take in your environment. So I know this is probably a grandiose, right? Like the entire IT industry can gain value from this. Some organizations do a fantastic job of documenting their processes, of creating proper tickets, but nobody is really creating something to really streamline the onboarding process for new IT professionals. So many organizations are so afraid to hire new people that lack experience because they're worried that they have to sit down with them and train them for weeks and months on end. Well, we can go through this process much simpler 1 or 2 times around to really fine-tune your onboarding process and have your new hires go through this onboarding process that really helps them understand what they need to know coming into the environment. So for the first week or two, maybe they're watching these videos, they're reading these documentation, they're going through maybe some lab scenarios that directly relate to things that you're doing in your environment. So when they get in and actually get on the phones and start troubleshooting and answering tickets, they have a good idea, a better idea of what it is that is expected in that job. And of course, they'll have a good understanding of the types of technologies and issues that they are going to find within your environment as well. Now, again, maybe this is a grandiose dream. Maybe this is something that can't happen yet, but the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of different things happen, and we've watched and seen where this industry lacks. And it all falls back to the industry as a whole. We're doing this to ourselves. It's not just the hiring managers. It's not just the HR people who are creating all of these barriers. It's us. It's IT professionals creating these barriers as well, because you as a hiring manager or you as HR aren't doing the proper due diligence to actually prepare your future IT professionals to be successful in your environment. You can't rely on new people coming in with years of experience to come into your environment and hit the ground running. It's not going to happen. That's not how the real world works. When you hire people at an entry level and require years of experience, you're hiring experienced IT professionals who may be so desperate for a job, they have to take a help desk job and they'll be gone in 3 months, 6 weeks, a year, maybe, if you're lucky. And then you have to go through this whole entire process again. So instead of going through this process of hiring experienced professionals for quote unquote entry-level jobs, let's give our new potential IT professionals a chance. Let's train them and work with them and get them up to gear. As I said, we don't have to spend all the time in the world in getting specific people shadowing these people. We can create a streamlined, automated process to help move this further. Now, this is one example or one idea on how we can massively change the way that the IT industry recruits professionals. What ideas do you have? How can you and your great, amazing idea change the entire landscape of this industry so that we can bring more IT professionals into this field? Because we know and we've seen, and if we Google how many open jobs there are in cybersecurity alone, millions, according to the internet, right? Hundreds of thousands of IT jobs in general, right? That's how many jobs we have open. And we, as the IT industry, are throwing up unrealistic barriers for no reason. We are essentially creating a roadblock for the entire industry because we're not working together to create a process to actually make better IT professionals. So I put a poll out on LinkedIn that asked about the roadblock in IT. The answers were HR, hiring managers, or the entire industry is flawed. Most people so far have said the entire industry is flawed, which I completely agree with. I'm never going to single out HR as to blame, or a hiring manager as to blame. The fact of the matter is, it's the entire organization as a whole that's creating the problem. It's the organization not communicating with each other on exactly what it is that they need and exactly how they can create a better process to onboard professionals. So what can we do to make onboarding IT professionals easier? What can we do to help bring more IT professionals in this industry without having to worry about HR or hiring managers? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear from you guys. Throw it in the comments below, something a little bit different. I'm gonna have more videos like this because this is something that drives me absolutely bonkers. So that's all I got for today's random video. I hope you guys appreciate it. And of course, keep it classic because I'm old and a nerd. So anyway, as always, take it easy.